there lovelies, it's Sarah Leonard here from acatlikecuriosity.com and welcome to my latest Artcast. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, basically an Artcast is a cross between a podcast and an art tutorial. I kind of came up with the idea based on my own experience with podcasts, in that I quite enjoyed them, but I found that I just couldn't concentrate very well. I couldn't keep my mind focused on what was happening just because there was nothing visual to sort of keep my attention. So I came up with this idea as a way to still be able to impart some sort of advice and ideas to you all, but also to sort of share a little bit more of my journal pages and my creativity with you as well at the same time. So I hope you enjoy the concept. Obviously you can just minimise the video and listen to it as a more traditional audio track if you wish to. That's completely fine. This episode of the podcast is all about protection, and it's something that has come up for me recently, and something that I've started to take a little bit more seriously in the past few months. I think for anyone who is putting themselves out there in any way, shape or form, so whether you're sharing your art online, whether you're even just sharing it with friends and family, that experience can be quite a vulnerable one, and you can find yourself feeling very, very exposed and very, very unprotected. And I've turned to a few different things to sort of help me feel comfortable sharing not just my art, but some newer things that are starting to become quite important to me as I'm kind of journeying along this sort of road as a business owner. So the idea of protection and protecting myself and my soul and my emotions, I suppose, has become quite an important one to me. Just to be really clear, I'm not talking about shutting myself away from people or hiding myself away or not sharing. I'm just talking about some little tips and techniques and tricks that I've used to help me feel more comfortable sharing myself, particularly online, because often that can be a little bit of a scary experience. You don't really want to feel quite so vulnerable and quite so out there sometimes. So things that I have been doing to help protect myself and also to help me project the best version of me out into the world, they include my monthly altars that I set each and every month with my intention for the month, using crystals to help me set that intention and set that goal for the month. Those are very powerful. That's very definitely me time. It's not just about writing a to-do list and ticking it off. It's about really allowing myself to make my intentions special and make them valid and an important part of my life in a very creative and spiritual kind of way. So that's worked really, really well for me. I also have started to use crystals in the bath. I wrote a little bit about this on my blog in February. But yeah, crystal baths has been really an amazing thing for me. They really sort of help me to relax, help to ground me, help to clear my mind. And I think when you're in that kind of state where you're feeling very calm, very centered, very focused, you're less likely to get into a bit of a tears about any kind of protection issues or any kind of worries or concerns about sort of sharing yourself with the world. That all becomes a bit less of a big issue, if that makes sense. Other things that I have been sort of indulging in, if you like, recently, have been little sort of what I would maybe call trinkets and totems. So things like crystals or other little sort of symbols of safety and protection can be really, really fulfilling and calming. So the video that goes with this Artcast in the video you'll see me creating a journal spread with the Hamza hand, which is a symbol of protection. So sometimes symbols I'm often drawn to more from an art point of view. If I like the look of it, then I like the way that it works on the page, then I'm more likely to be interested in it. But also I think they are more powerful than we often realise. They do offer us more than we think they do. They're not just a pretty pattern on a page. And I think engaging with that, so doing a bit of a Google image search maybe just for different symbols and seeing which ones call to you, and then looking up the meaning, that can often, I find, lead you down the road of where you need to be going, because your inner self, your inner soul, it knows really what you need. Even if you yourself haven't quite caught up to that fact yet, it always seems to be pretty well aware of what's going on and what you actually need in order to support you and protect you and allow you to share yourself with the world. So I would definitely recommend researching symbols that appeal to you and using those as much as possible. So other things that you can do with symbols include using different oils and essential oils, or you can get purposely blended oils for certain different things. And you can actually then use those symbols around your home, and no one would know that you've done that because they're not visible to the naked eye, but they're there and you know that they're there, and that can make a huge difference. So I have a home blessing oil that I bought from an Etsy shop, and I use that around the house and draw little symbols on the doors and the windows and things. And like I say, nobody else needs to know about it. No one else can see that they're there. They're just invisible. But to me, they're important, and it feels, that little ritual just kind of feels as though I've really taken care of myself and protected the house and everything else. I also have rowan tree little trinkets that are on both of the front and back doors to the house as well. And those are just things, really. And I think you could dismiss them as nothing and as not important, but I think what is important is the intention behind those things. So if to you, doing a few of those little ritualistic type things, like choosing a symbol that's yours, putting that symbol into your home, either invisibly or in a piece of artwork, or however you want to do it, if your intention behind those is sound and solid, and if it gives you comfort and gives you a feeling of being protected, then it's most definitely worthwhile. I think I've often struggled with my sort of rational brain that thinks everything is a scam and everything is not really real and everything is very much, oh, why are you doing that? That's so silly. Why would you even bother? That part of your sort of monkey brain that needs to just shush from occasion. I've often struggled with allowing myself to do those kinds of things, but I've noticed this year, since 2017, since I chose my word of love and really focusing more on self-love, I'm less dismissive of such things. If it appeals to me as something to do and I can do it, it harms no one else, then I'll do it and set my intention behind it. And I do take great comfort in those things. And you might too. So if you're feeling the need for a bit of extra protection, that could be a great thing to do. Crystals are fantastic for protection. If you look up crystals that might support you or that you might feel drawn to, and that's often a very inexpensive way to sort of set intentions and set the kind of intention of protection around your house as well. I definitely would recommend crystals. But what you're really talking about, or what I'm really talking about here, is just finding the sacred in the ordinary. So ordinary day-to-day things are made more special for me by using these tiny little ritual type elements. So having a bath is more special to me because I make sure to add rose essential oil, and I make sure to add in my rose quartz and white quartz and amethyst crystals. In the mornings and in the evenings now, I'm putting aside some time to be grateful for what has happened during the day, to forgive myself for anything that may not have gone the way I wanted it to during the day. In the mornings I'm using cherry quartz and red tiger's eye because they feel quite energetic stones to me. In the evenings I'm using black obsidian, and I'm just holding them in my palms as I sort of go through and review and think of my day and think of what I'm grateful for, what I'm forgiving myself for. And I think, again, that's a little practice of protection, because if we don't forgive ourselves, then those layers of little tiny guilts will just sort of build up and build up and build up, and eventually they'll be a kind of invisible, impenetrable barrier that you can't see, but that kind of stops you from shining fully out in the world. And it's the opposite of a protection. It just kind of keeps you hidden when really you want to be more visible. So that's another thing that I'm doing on a regular basis, every day, to sort of help me protect my inner light by allowing it to shine more brightly. So I hope some of those little ideas kind of sparked a bit of interest in you, and I hope you might choose to use some of those ideas yourself in your own daily practices. I think it's important to protect ourselves, but I think it's also important not to allow that to be by shutting ourselves off from the whole world. And I think with some of these tips and tricks, you can easily protect yourself while still being a visible and findable and really kind of out there person with yourself and with your soul. So I hope you've enjoyed some of these tips. Feel free to come over to my website at catlikecuriosity.com to find more artcasts, blog posts, art tutorials, e-courses, sisterhood, and so much more. Thanks very much.